Okay, let's unpack this. Did you know that way back in 2019, the money spent on tea in Chinese cafes actually beat out coffee?
Is that right? By how much?
Yeah, tea grabbing 54% of the market compared to coffee's 38%.
Wow.
Kind of flips your expectations, doesn't it? And if you're tuning into this, you're probably like me, always kind of hunting for those key insights that give you a real understanding, without wading through tons of info.
Absolutely. In today's world, we're just swimming in data, and the real skill is, well, identifying the currents that actually matter. So today, we're diving deep into a really interesting part, the Chinese consumer story.
Yeah.
The enduring popularity of these modern Chinese tea cafes.
Exactly. And we've got a couple of great sources to guide us here. First, there's an article called Did You Know? Keywords for Deeply Understanding Chinese IT Volume 052.
Okay.
This gives us a journalist's firsthand sort of take on why this trend has really taken off. And then we've got the 2020 New Tea Drink Research Report, which is just packed with industry data and analysis.
Oh, good. Those two sources should really complement each other. The article gives you those, on-the-ground observations, helps understand the cultural shifts.
Yeah, the why.
While the research report gives us this solid numbers, the market trends, the hard data to back it all up. It's a powerful combination.
So our mission for this deep dive is basically to figure out why these modern tea cafes have become such a huge hit, especially with younger folks in China. What's the magic ingredient here?
Right.
And what does this tell us about the bigger picture? What's happening in China right now? We're aiming for those aha moments that really make things click for you.
Okay, let's start by thinking about the traditional image that comes to mind when we talk about Chinese tea culture.
Right.
Often it's those beautiful small teapots, the very deliberate rituals, maybe something you'd experience like on a special occasion or as a tourist.
Yeah, that elegant ceremony. But the reality for most people drinking tea in China historically was much more straightforward, wasn't it?
Oh, definitely. Much more practical.
I'm thinking of just tossing some loose tea leaves into a glass, pouring in hot water, and that's pretty much it.
Yep.
The article even mentions how people got so used to it they could drink without getting leaves in their mouth, and sometimes even, eat the leaves.
And what's fascinating here is the long history behind it, which was significantly driven by concerns about water safety. The slower-moving rivers, the hard water in many areas, boiling water and adding tea made it much safer, more palatable. So for centuries, tea was just the go-to daily drink.
And it was pretty much a given that adults drank tea every day. But then the article points out that maybe about a decade ago, we started seeing younger people kind of move away from traditional tea and towards, bottled sweet drinks and, of course, coffee.
Precisely. And this is where the new style Chinese tea cafes really entered the scene.
Good.
Forget just your standard hot tea. We're talking about modern, often cold drinks. They take inspiration from Western trends, the popularity of bubble tea.
Right, bubble tea.
But with these uniquely Chinese twists, like cream cheese toppings, and a huge array of fruit-infused teas.
And what's really interesting, the article mentions this, is how these new tea cafes in China have really stuck around.
Yeah.
The journalist notes how the bubble tea craze maybe faded a bit in Japan, but these Chinese tea cafes are still incredibly popular.
That staying power. Well, the article suggests it comes down to three key elements. Quality, net, meaning the internet, and art.
Quality, net, and art.
Okay. Let's start with quality. This isn't just about, sticking to tradition. It's about using really good ingredients. We're talking higher grades of tea leaves, fresh, high-quality fruit.
So an upgrade.
Yeah, it really raises the whole experience compared to maybe older, less quality-focused versions you might have seen before.
That makes sense. You pay a bit more, you want something worthwhile. Okay, now let's dive into the net, that internet factor. How has the online world played a role?
Well, the internet, especially mobile tech, has been absolutely critical, just massive.
How so?
The widespread adoption of mobile ordering and delivery services allowed these tea cafes to not just adapt, but actually, flourish.
Particularly during times like the pandemic when going out wasn't always easy.
Right. Delivery.
People could still get their favorite drinks delivered right to their door. Convenience.
That's a great point. Convenience is huge these days.
Right.
Okay, the last piece of the puzzle, art. This one feels a little less straightforward. What exactly does art mean when we're talking about tea?
Yeah, art here, it really refers to the whole brand aesthetic.
Okay, like the vibe.
Exactly. The messaging, the design, the overall feeling a brand creates. It's about building this culturally relevant experience that connects with today's consumers. And this is where the whole Guochao phenomenon comes into play.
Guochao, the national trend. Okay, I've heard of this. The article describes it as a kind of rediscovery, right? Reevaluating established Chinese brands and culture through a modern lens.
So that's a good way to put it. A sort of retro-modern cool.
Can you give us some examples outside of tea? Absolutely. Think about the resurgence of Hanfu, those beautiful, traditional Chinese clothes. Young people are embracing them in really contemporary ways now.
Yeah, you see that online.
Or the comeback of classic brands like Bai Ling hand cream or Warrior Huli sneakers.
Ah, those old school sneakers.
Right, they're not just dusty old products, they're being reinterpreted and celebrated. It shows a generation finding value and, frankly, coolness in their own heritage, not just looking forward all the time.
It's a fascinating shift. The article mentions there used to be more of a trend among young Chinese people to sort of reject the past, only look towards the future. So how have these tea cafes specifically tapped into this Guochao wave?
Well, they've done it by weaving elements of Chinese culture into their branding, their product design, even how they tell their story.
Okay.
It's about making traditional tea feel modern, appealing to a younger crowd that's increasingly interested in, exploring and celebrating their cultural identity.
This all sounds really interesting in theory, but let's get down to some specifics. The article highlights Heytea, is it Heytea, as a prime example.
Yeah, Heytea. Founded in 2012, they've become a major player.
Huge, right.
Oh, yeah. The founder, Ni Yunshin, even made it onto the Huron Rich list as the only billionaire in his 20s at the time. Really shows the scale.
Wow. Okay. So what did they do right? What was their initial hit?
One of their initial breakout products was, get this, Chinese black tea with rock salt cream cheese on top.
Cream cheese on tea.
Yep. Sounds different. A bit unexpected, right? It definitely got people curious enough to try it.
I'll bet. But the article points out Heytea's success isn't just about weird drinks. It's deeply connected to their focus on customer experience, shaking up industry norms.
Absolutely.
That takes us back to the founder's early days, right? With the mobile phone shop.
Exactly. Even though his first business wasn't food and drink, his approach there really set the stage for Heytea's philosophy. He realized, just opening a shop wasn't enough.
Needed an edge.
He needed to give people a compelling reason to choose his shop. So he offered free data migration, free app installation, even if customers had brought their phones somewhere else.
That's really smart. It wasn't just about selling phones. It was about getting people in the door, building trust.
Giving them a reason to come back.
Yeah, even if they weren't buying that day.
And that same principle, really understanding and meeting customer needs, carried over to Heytea. When he looked at the existing modern tea options, he just felt the quality was, lacking.
Okay.
He saw an opportunity to offer a superior product, use real high-quality ingredients, even if it meant a slightly higher price. He bet that younger, more discerning consumers would appreciate that difference.
So Heytea started in 2012, initially called Royal Tea, focusing on Hong Kong-style milk tea. Yeah. But it wasn't an overnight smash hit.
No, not immediately. The article mentions they had some challenges getting repeat customers.
Right.
Offering discounts gave an initial boost, sure, but that's not sustainable long-term.
Doesn't build loyalty.
Exactly. So Ni Yunshin realized he needed to give people a reason to return without a special offer. This led to expanding the menu way beyond just Hong Kong style, adding a much wider variety of teas, different flavors.
Yeah, creating that curiosity factor.
Creating that sense of, ooh, what does that taste like? I should try it next time.
And that's when the rock salt cream cheese tea came in. Then, when they expanded to Shanghai in 2017, things really blew up. Those huge queues.
Oh yeah, the queues became legendary. But it wasn't just about the taste, was it?
No, the article really emphasizes Heytea's focus on Instagrammability.
Absolutely crucial. They understood their target audience, young women, many deeply engaged in online culture, sometimes called otaku, highly active on social media.
Makes sense.
So they designed their cups, their packaging, everything to be visually appealing, perfect for sharing online.
So the drink itself becomes social content.
Precisely. And even those crazy long queues became a kind of social media event. People posting about waiting in line.
Wow, the queue as a status symbol. I waited this long for this Heytea.
Kind of. And then to handle both sides, the people wanting the in-store experience and those just wanting the drink quickly.
Yeah.
They introduced the Heytea Go WeChat Mini Program.
Ah, the mobile ordering, the net factor again.
Exactly. So you could choose the full experience, trendy cup, social buzz, or the sheer convenience of ordering ahead, skipping the line.
That dual approach sounds really key to their ongoing success.
For sure. Unlike some, fleeting fad cafes that rely only on that initial novelty and then fizzle out because there's no repeat business.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, so the journalist's article gives us this great firsthand perspective, the Heytea story. Now, let's turn to the 2020 New Tea Drink Research Report for the broader market view. The data. What does it tell us?
Well, first off, the report confirms that dominance of new style tea, that 54% market share figure we started with, it backs that up.
Okay, good.
It also breaks down the evolution of China's modern tea drink scene into 3 distinct phases. First, the rise of basic chain tea shops, pre-2015. Then, the 1.0 consumption upgrade, roughly 2015 to 2019. That's when the focus shifted to fresh ingredients, the whole aesthetic. This is when brands like Heytea and Nayuki really emerged.
Okay, the quality and look phase.
And finally, the 2.0 consumption upgrade from 2020 onwards. This phase emphasizes digitalization, branding, and really staying on top of trends.
So we're currently deep in this 2.0 era. It's not just a tasty drink, it's the whole digital package, the brand story.
Exactly.
Who are the main consumers driving this, according to the report?
The report highlights that the primary demographic is post-90s women, so mostly people in their 20s.
Right.
They also tend to have a strong preference for kind of staying at home and are very active online shoppers. That fits.
Yeah, fits perfectly with the Heytea strategy. What else?
It also points to a growing trend of these tea cafes integrating with other categories like coffee and baked goods.
Diversifying.
And crucially, the significant increase in online ordering and delivery. That was definitely accelerated by the pandemic, but the trend was already there.
It really seems like that net factor the journalist mentioned is strongly backed up by the data here. Huge growth in online. What about location? Is this just a big city thing?
Not anymore, apparently. The report shows new tea brands are increasingly expanding into lower-tier cities. Suggests a much broader appeal now.
Interesting. And what about the drinks themselves? Are they just adding more and more options?
Actually, no. The report suggests a shift. Instead of just constantly adding new items, new SKUs, the focus now is more on upgrading existing popular ones.
Ah, improving quality again.
Improving quality, maybe a slightly higher price point to match. Quality over just sheer quantity.
And are people spending more?
Yes, the average customer spend is increasing, particularly noted in second-tier cities. And that trend of offering more than just tea, the coffee, the bakery items, it's also confirmed. Top brands like Heytea and Nayuki are actively experimenting there.
Makes sense. Keep people coming back for different things.
And the report really emphasizes the sophisticated branding strategies, incorporating pop culture, doing collaborations, selling merchandise, and, significantly, that Guochao national trend branding we talked about.
Yeah.
It's explicitly mentioned.
So Guochao isn't just an observation. It's a core strategy confirmed by the market data.
Seems so. And it all comes back to that digital side too, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The report specifically calls out Heytea's WeChat Mini Program as a prime example of how these companies are building and managing their online customer base. Digital infrastructure is key.
Right, building that community online.
Exactly. It's about creating that seamless experience, store or phone. Now, the report also touches on some challenges, things the industry needs to think about, particularly regulations.
Ah, yes, the article mentioned this briefly too. What kind of policy issues are affecting these cafes?
The main area is new regulations around plastic waste and single-use plastics. It's becoming a bigger deal.
Sustainability.
Right. But the challenge is there are different rules in different cities across China. That makes it really complicated for national chains to navigate consistently.
Well, I can see how that would be tricky. Like one set of cups for one city, another for somewhere else.
Potentially, yeah. Or finding solutions that work everywhere. The report mentions companies are looking at alternatives, plant-based straws, edible straws, biodegradable materials. But it notes these can currently be more expensive, and sometimes, frankly, they don't perform as well as the traditional plastics. Customers might complain about a soggy paper straw, for example.
Right. It's a tough balancing act then. Be responsible, meet regulations, keep customers happy, manage costs.
It absolutely is.
Okay, let's try and wrap things up then. Thinking about both the article and the report, what are the absolute key takeaways from our deep dive today?
Well, I think the success of these modern Chinese tea cafes really boils down to a powerful combination. It's, first, a real focus on high-quality ingredients. That's fundamental.
Quality, got it.
Second, a very smart and effective use of online services, especially mobile ordering and delivery. That net factor is huge.
Net, okay.
And third, a strong, culturally relevant brand identity. That art factor, cleverly tapping into the Guochao trend, which really resonates with a new generation that's proud of its heritage but wants it presented in a modern way.
Quality, net, and art, with Guochao being a key part of that art. So it's not just about a tasty drink, it's the whole package. The quality, the convenience, and that cultural connection.
You got it.
And this isn't just some niche trend, is it? It feels like it has wider implications for how we understand the Chinese consumer market.
Definitely. I think it highlights how consumer preferences in China are evolving, the sheer power of online platforms in shaping and sustaining trends, and also the really innovative ways that traditional elements can be reimagined for modern audiences.
Yeah, blending heritage with modern tech and branding.
It just shows how businesses can successfully do that to really connect with younger consumers today.
This has been incredibly insightful, really gives us, and hopefully you listening, a much clearer picture of a fascinating part of contemporary Chinese culture and business.
Agreed.
So for our final thought today, maybe something for you to mull over, what other industries, things that might seem quite traditional, could be ripe for a similar kind of retro-modern makeover? You know, using technology and that deep cultural connection to appeal to a whole new wave of consumers.
Interesting question.
Definitely something interesting to think about as we watch how different parts of the economy keep adapting and evolving in this, wow, rapidly changing world.